15. Fierce black LGBTQ+. Stars who are publicly outraged at Donald Trump. What if your very existence, your identity, your freedom could be erased with just one signature? For millions of black LGBTQ+ Americans, that fear became reality under Donald Trump's administration. Laws turned into weapons, stripping away rights, dignity, and recognition. But out of this storm rose 15 extraordinary icons, artists, actors, and activists who refused to be silenced. Their courage shook stages, screens, and the halls of power. Today, on Legends of Black Excellence, we reveal their stories. Stay until the end and tell us in the comments, do these voices represent the future of equality or the fight we still face? Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox, born in Mobile, Alabama, has shattered countless barriers as one of the most recognizable black transgender women in entertainment. From a young age, she had an innate passion for acting, but growing up in a conservative town presented significant challenges. Cox experienced rejection from both her family and society due to her gender identity, which deeply impacted her early years. However, rather than allowing these obstacles to define her, she used them as fuel to power her journey toward authenticity and self-love. Her big break came when she was cast in the critically acclaimed Netflix series Orange is the New Black in 2013. Cox's portrayal of Sophia Bursay, a transgender woman incarcerated for identity fraud, marked a groundbreaking moment in television history. Not only was she the first openly transgender woman to be nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award, but her role also illuminated the lives of incarcerated trans people, highlighting the intersectionality of race, gender identity, and the criminal justice system. In doing so, Cox became a symbol of visibility, making it impossible for the public to ignore the reality of trans lives. What did Laverne Cox's portrayal of Sophia Bursay mean to you? Did it challenge your understanding of gender, race, and the criminal justice system? Her success on Orange is the New Black was not just a career milestone, it was a declaration. Cox used her newfound platform to advocate for transgender rights, emphasizing the importance of visibility and representation in media. She spoke openly about the discrimination she had faced throughout her life, including being denied roles because of her trans identity. Yet rather than retreating from the industry, Cox became one of its most vocal activists, working tirelessly to ensure that trans people could see themselves in media and that society could see them as more than just stereotypes. In 2014, Laverne Cox made history by appearing on the cover of Time magazine, becoming the first openly transgender person to be featured in such a prominent way. This moment solidified her status as a role model for countless people, particularly black transgender women who had been overlooked in the broader narrative surrounding LGBTQ+ rights. Cox's presence in mainstream media helped change the narrative around transgender people, proving that trans women of color could be beautiful, powerful, and celebrated in the public eye. But Cox's activism extends beyond just her role on Orange is the New Black. She has been a fierce advocate for transgender people, especially trans women of color, who continue to face disproportionately high rates of violence and discrimination. Cox has used her platform to speak out about the violence that affects the trans community, bringing attention to the murders of trans women, particularly black trans women, and urging society to take action. She has also been involved in legislative efforts to protect transgender rights, advocating for non-discrimination policies and healthcare access for trans people. Despite the many accomplishments she has achieved, Cox has faced significant setbacks as well. The rise of anti-trans policies during the Trump administration, including the rollback of protections for transgender people in healthcare and employment, has been devastating to the progress Cox and others have fought for. Furthermore, her personal experiences of discrimination, such as being misgendered, belittled, or excluded from spaces where her identity should have been celebrated, serve as a reminder of the daily struggles many transgender individuals face. Nonetheless, Laverne Cox remains an unshakable force in both Hollywood and activism. She has received numerous accolades, including a Daytime Emmy Award and recognition from the Human Rights Campaign for her advocacy work. More than that, she has become a living testament to the power of resilience and the importance of being unapologetically oneself. Her work as an actress and activist transcends the screen, shaping how the world views not only transgender women, but all marginalized groups. She's not only making history on screen, she's changing the world off it as well. As a role model, Laverne Cox has inspired millions of people to embrace their true selves, live without apology, and fight for their place in society. Her story is one of immense courage and hope, reminding us that visibility is power and that we must continue to fight for a world where everyone can be seen and heard. T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison, a symbol of boldness and tenacity, has never been one to stay behind the scenes in any story. Born in Miami, she had to make her own way in a society that is harsh on those who dare to be authentic. Madison not only breaks stereotypes, but also turns her own life into a protest against injustice. Since her viral 2013 video, New Weave 22 Inches, Madison has quickly become a household name in the LGBTQ+ community. But she hasn't let her fame stop at social media. When the T.S. Madison Experience premiered in 2021, Madison became the first Black trans woman to both produce and star in her own reality show. It's not just an artistic milestone, but also a victory for autonomy and representation for a community that has been marginalized. But then the Trump administration's executive orders, especially the narrowing of the definition of gender to biological sex, stripped transgender people of many basic rights. Legal documents, access to health care, and even job opportunities were threatened. For Madison, this was tantamount to erasing the existence of millions of people, including herself. Instead of staying silent, Madison used her influence to protest. She publicly criticized policies that went against human rights, called for community solidarity, and turned the stage, television, and even music into cultural weapons against prejudice. Her participation in Beyoncé's song Cozy was not only an artistic milestone, but also a powerful message about the presence of Black trans people in the mainstream of popular culture. In addition to her art, Madison founded T.S. Madison Starter House, a shelter for Black transgender women reintegrating after leaving prison. This project proves that she doesn't just talk about change, she actually creates it. Dr. Madison became a symbol of resistance to political power that sought to wipe out her community. Her story is a reminder that even when the law is turned away, the power of courage and unity can rewrite the future. Monroe Bergdorf. Monroe Bergdorf, a British African model and activist, has overcome countless prejudices to become a powerful voice for the LGBTQ+ community. Born in the UK, Monroe faced double prejudice as a transgender woman and a person of color in an industry that favors rigid gender and ethnic norms. But instead of letting these barriers stop her, she turned them into a catalyst for change. Monroe's career began on the catwalk, where she quickly gained attention for her charismatic style and unique personality. However, Monroe's beauty is not just about her looks. She uses every opportunity to speak out about equal rights, sexism, and transphobia. She once became the face of a global cosmetics brand, but was later fired for daring to speak out about racism. This shocking incident did not deter her, but instead helped Monroe become a symbol of resilience and outspokenness in social struggles. But when Donald Trump signed executive orders restricting transgender rights, especially narrowing the definition of gender based solely on biological sex, Monroe was outraged. Efforts to erase the legal recognition of transgender people amounted to stripping millions of people of their right to exist. Monroe believes they can. She appears on television, in speeches, and on social media to call out discriminatory policies. She's not afraid to call out Trump by name, condemn decisions that hurt the LGBTQ+ community, and call for people to unite against hate. Monroe also campaigns for transgender mental health awareness, access to health care, and basic legal rights. She understands that an executive order could cost thousands of people their jobs, their health care, and even their safety. So she goes beyond speaking and directly engages in policy advocacy, partnering with international human rights organizations to promote change. Monroe Bergdorf is more than just a model or an activist. She is proof that an individual with her voice and courage can challenge even the most powerful forces. Angelica Ross. Angelica Ross is more than just an actress or activist. She is a symbol of perseverance, of strength that comes from painful experiences and of the desire to live authentically in a world that often rejects the existence of transgender people. Born in Wisconsin, Angelica was forced to leave her family at a very young age after revealing her gender identity. Years of living precariously searching for a place in society forged an iron will that later became the foundation for her persistent struggle. The opportunity arose when Angelica founded Trans Tech Social Enterprises, a nonprofit that provides tech skills training and employment to transgender people. For her, change was not just about slogans, but had to start in the economy and education where the community was most vulnerable. The initiative quickly gained international attention, making Angelica the face of the LGBTQ+ community in major forums. But when the Trump administration signed executive orders that curtailed transgender rights, from redefining gender identity on official documents to banning transgender people from serving in the military, Angelica was outraged. She called it a human rights wipeout and warned that the policies would put an already vulnerable community at greater risk. Angelica didn't stop at protests. She made a statement on Broadway as the first Black transgender woman to play the lead role in the legendary Chicago. Each of her performances was more than just art. It was a powerful statement about the right to be authentic, respected, and seen as equals. In addition to her art, Angelica has also actively participated in human rights hearings and conferences, calling for an end to discriminatory ordinances and promoting laws to protect the rights of the LGBTQ+ community. She asserts that politics cannot silence those who dare to stand up for equality, and that any attempt to erase the presence of transgender people only strengthens the resistance movement. Angelica Ross is now living proof that even in the face of harsh political power, one individual can become a beacon of light for millions of people searching for freedom and dignity. Peppermint. Peppermint, a multi-talented artist and bold Black trans woman, has become a symbol of the power of art in the fight for justice and equality. Born in Pennsylvania, she developed a passion for music and theater early on, but Peppermint's journey has never been easy. She has faced double standards, being a trans woman and being Black in an entertainment industry that has many barriers. Peppermint rose to prominence when she competed on RuPaul's Drag Race in 2017. She made history by becoming the first openly transgender contestant on the show, a watershed moment for LGBTQ+ representation on reality TV. In addition to delivering explosive performances, Peppermint also used the stage as a megaphone to amplify the voices of those who were marginalized. But when the Donald Trump administration issued executive orders restricting transgender rights, including redefining gender based on biological sex, Peppermint publicly protested, calling the policies an attack on human dignity and asserting that art cannot exist in an environment where people are denied the right to be themselves. Peppermint believes it is possible. She transforms Broadway, where she has played important roles, into a space of truth and courage. Every song, every dance move Peppermint makes is a message that the transgender community deserves respect and recognition. Offstage, Peppermint is involved in numerous human rights campaigns, partnering with LGBTQ+ organizations to provide legal, medical, and educational support to those impacted by discriminatory policies. She also actively appears at hearings and advocacy events, calling for an end to disenfranchising ordinances. Peppermint has gone from being an entertainer to a cultural warrior, using music, acting, and activism to challenge efforts to erase transgender visibility. She proves that art is not just for entertainment, but can be a powerful weapon against injustice. Peppermint is more than just a stage name. She's proof that singing, dancing, and spotlights can shake even the most rigid walls of prejudice. Dominique Jackson. Dominique Jackson, a familiar face in the hit series Pose, is not only an actress, but also a symbol of courage of overcoming adversity to assert the right to be true to herself. Born in Tobago, a conservative land with strict notions of gender, Dominique soon understood what it was like to be rejected in her own family and community. But instead of letting that pain stifle her dreams, she used it as motivation to write the extraordinary story of her life. Deciding to leave her hometown with nothing, Dominique came to New York in search of the freedom she believed was worthy of all human beings. In the early days, she experienced homelessness, discrimination, and violence, but that could not extinguish the fire within her. It was in this city that Dominique found the ballroom scene, an underground art space where the LGBTQ+ community shined with splendid and proud performances. There, she not only found her family, but also found herself. And from there, Dominique Jackson was born as a symbol of pride and strength. Dominique's career exploded when she played Electra Abundance in Pose. The character of Electra, powerful, proud, yet full of depth, helped Dominique bring the story of Black trans people to millions of viewers around the world. Every line, every glance she gave on screen carried the history of a community that had been ignored for too long. But when Donald Trump signed executive orders defining gender based on biological sex, Dominique spoke out strongly against them. She believed that such policies were tantamount to erasing the existence of transgender people, depriving them of their most basic legal rights. Dominique did not stop at just words, but also participated in campaigns calling for the protection of the rights of the LGBTQ+ community and raising awareness of violence against Black transgender people, the group most heavily affected by prejudice and discriminatory policies. On stage, on screen, and in real life, Dominique Jackson has always appeared confident, refusing to bow to any power that would silence her voice. Dominique's story is proof that human dignity cannot be taken away by political decree or social prejudice. MJ Rodriguez. Michaela J. Rodriguez, better known by her stage name MJ Rodriguez, is an actress and singer who has rewritten Hollywood history with her talent and courage. Born in Newark, New Jersey, MJ showed a passion for performing arts early on, but her journey to the spotlight was fraught with obstacles. As a Black transgender woman, she faced not only societal prejudice, but also the strictures of an entertainment industry that has long been closed to people like her. Her big break came when she landed the role of Blanca Evangelista on Pose. Her character, a mother in the 1980s New York ballroom scene who cares for children who have been abandoned by their families because of their gender identity or sexual orientation, quickly became a symbol of love and compassion. Through her sensitive and emotional performance, MJ brought a rare depth and humanity to the portrayal of Black transgender women on the small screen. This role brought MJ a Golden Globe in 2022, making her the first transgender woman in history to receive this title. The victory was not only a personal glory, but also a milestone for the LGBTQ+ community, proving that talent has no limits of gender or ethnicity. However, while MJ and many other transgender artists are gradually breaking down barriers, the Donald Trump administration has signed a series of executive orders that narrow the rights of transgender people, from defining gender based solely on biological sex to banning transgender people from serving in the military. These policies directly threaten the legal rights, career opportunities, and safety of the LGBTQ+ community. MJ has repeatedly spoken out against this, affirming that art and dignity cannot be imposed or denied by politics. Off the set, MJ has campaigned for equal rights, calling for health care and legal rights for transgender people. She has appeared at hearings, collaborated with human rights organizations, and used her fame to shine a light on social issues that are often overlooked. MJ Rodriguez is more than just a TV star. She is a voice of hope, love, and courage for millions of people fighting for their right to exist and be respected. Brian Michael Smith. Brian Michael Smith is the first Black transgender actor to play a long-term lead role on American television, a milestone in the history of LGBTQ+ representation on screen. Born in Michigan, Brian was a promising high school football player, but deep inside, he was struggling with his gender identity, which he had not shared with anyone. It was this struggle that drove him to seek his true path, despite knowing that the road ahead was full of hardships. The turning point came when Brian decided to pursue acting. In 2017, he appeared in Queen Sugar as Twan Wilkins, a transgender police officer. It was the first time television audiences saw a black transgender character played by a real black transgender actor. No embellishment, no stereotypes, just a real human story. From that moment on, Brian established himself as a pioneer in the entertainment industry. Success followed success, as Brian starred in acclaimed series such as 911, Lone Star, and the L-Word Generation Q, where he continued to break down gender, racial, and industry stereotypes. Each of his roles was not only artistic, but also sent a powerful message: black transgender people deserve to be seen for their talent and worth, not through a discriminatory lens. But when the Trump administration issued a series of executive orders restricting transgender rights, from gender reassignment to a ban on military service, Brian spoke out against them, calling the policies an attack on human dignity and warning that they would deny millions of Americans the basic right to live simply because they dare to be themselves. Offset Brian is actively involved in campaigns to raise awareness of the LGBTQ+ community, working with human rights organizations to demand fairer laws. He regularly appears at educational events, social forums, and uses social media as a tool to spread messages of respect and equality. Brian Michael Smith is more than just a talented actor. He is living proof that courage, perseverance, and self-belief can create lasting change even in the harshest political climate. Amia Scott. Amia Scott, Hollywood's most prominent black transgender model and actress, has become an inspiration to millions by living her truth in a world that is not easily accepting of differences. Born in New Orleans, Louisiana, Amia showed early strength and passion for fashion, but her childhood was not a bed of roses. Growing up in a prejudiced community, Amia had to create opportunities for herself while facing criticism and social exclusion. Amia's path to fame began on social media, where she wowed with her stunning beauty and confident style. But her real breakthrough came when she was cast in the lead role of Star, a hit Fox drama produced by Lee Daniels. In the show, Amia played Cotton, a young transgender woman with a life story full of ups and downs. This role not only made Amia shine, but also brought the image of black transgender people to millions of viewers worldwide. While Amia and many other transgender artists are opening doors to on-screen representation, the Donald Trump administration has issued a series of executive orders that have narrowed the rights of transgender people, from redefining gender based solely on biological sex to stripping away some basic legal rights. These policies directly threaten the lives of millions of people, including Amia, who are fighting every day for recognition and respect. Not choosing to stay silent, Amia Scott has spoken out publicly against these discriminatory policies. She uses her influence on social media to call for community unity, protect human rights, and fight against rising hate. For her, art is not just entertainment, but a powerful tool to break down stereotypes, inspire, and promote change. In addition to her acting career, Amia has also participated in many campaigns for equal rights for the LGBTQ+ community, appearing at international events to raise awareness for the rights of black transgender people. She proves that a Hollywood star can absolutely become a pioneer in the fight for equality and dignity. Amia Scott is now not only an icon of beauty and talent, but also a living testament to the power of courage and the desire for freedom, even in the face of the most repressive policies. Alexandra Gray. Black transgender actress and singer Alexandra Gray overcame a traumatic childhood to become one of Hollywood's most powerful LGBTQ+ advocates. Born in Chicago and raised in the foster care system, Alexandra faced adversity early in life: family loss, social stigma, and street violence. These experiences forged her resilience, allowing her to build a life that defied the limits others placed on her. After moving to California, Alexandra began pursuing her artistic passion to tell authentic stories about transgender people. She gradually asserted her talent through roles in Transparent Empire, How to Get Away with Murder, and many other films. Each of Alexandra's characters carries a part of her own story: the struggle for acceptance, the pride of being authentic, and the pain of being rejected by society. While Alexandra and many other transgender artists are working to expand representation on television and film, the Donald Trump administration is signing executive orders that restrict the rights of the LGBTQ+ community. Redefining gender based solely on biological sex is not just an administrative decision, but also an act that directly threatens the lives of millions of transgender people. Identity documents, access to health care, and even career opportunities can be stripped away with just a political signature. Alexandra Gray does not remain silent in the face of these injustices. She uses her voice to protest discriminatory policies, campaigns for equal rights, and appears on human rights forums to share her personal story. For her, art is not only a personal dream, but also a powerful tool to promote social change, forcing the world to listen to those who have been marginalized. Outside of acting, Alexandra is also a singer with a soulful voice, singing songs about love, freedom, and the journey of finding oneself. Her music, as well as her acting, all aim at a common message: transgender people deserve to live fully and be protected by the law like everyone else. Alexandra Gray turned her unhappy childhood into motivation to rise up, becoming a representative face of the power of courage and the desire for equality, even when facing the harshest policies. Ta Brown. Ta Brown, the first black transgender violinist and opera singer to perform at the White House, is a living testament to the power of art as a voice for justice and dignity. Born into a middle-class family in New York, Ta showed early musical talent. But behind the glittering stage lights, she faced a fierce internal battle over her gender identity, a battle that made simply existing a challenge. In 2014, Ta Brown made history at Carnegie Hall, performing not only as a world-class artist, but also as a proud black transgender woman. Every note she played spoke for millions of forgotten people who are still searching for acceptance in a society full of prejudice. But that joy was quickly overshadowed when the Donald Trump administration signed an executive order defining gender based solely on biological sex. This policy not only affects legal rights, but also denies the existence of the transgender community. For Ta Brown, who has spent years fighting to be recognized for her identity, it is a deep cut into her self-esteem and personal freedom. Instead of staying silent, Ta used music as a form of protest. Her concerts quickly became cultural platforms where art met politics, where each symphony was a message against discrimination and injustice. She collaborated with human rights organizations, performed fundraising concerts for the LGBTQ+ community, and used her violin to affirm that no edict could extinguish human identity and dignity. Offstage, Ta Brown is also an active social activist. She has spoken at universities, attended international conferences on LGBTQ+ rights, and shared her life story as proof that art and human rights can work together to create real change. Ta Brown is more than just an artist. She is a silent warrior who transforms her personal pain into collective strength, using her music to challenge policies that deny the existence of the black trans community. Liam Maldonado. Liam Maldonado, known in the ballroom community as the Wonder Woman of Vogue, is a pioneer in transforming street dance into a symbol of strength and freedom. Born in the Bronx, New York, Liam grew up in an environment where prejudice and discrimination often surrounded those who dared to live out their gender identity. But within these closed walls, Liam found a new language: dance, to give voice to the sometimes powerless. The ballroom scene was not only a place to compete, but also a safe space for those who had been rejected by society. There, Liam Maldonado quickly became a phenomenon. Each dip, each catwalk of hers was an affirmation of identity, of the pride in being herself. Soon, Liam's name resounded far beyond the underground community, appearing in major cultural festivals and global promotional campaigns, bringing the image of Black transgender people to the public in the most powerful way, confident, sharp, and full of charm. But when the Donald Trump administration signed executive orders that curtailed transgender rights, including redefining gender based on biological sex, Liam felt like the entire journey she and her community had fought for was erased in an instant. To her, this was not just an administrative policy, but a direct blow to the dignity of millions of people, including artists like herself, who use art to fight for freedom. Instead of remaining silent, Liam Maldonado turned the stage into a cultural battleground. Her performances have since become not just art, but also acts of resistance. She campaigns for equal rights, collaborates with human rights organizations, and uses her influence to call for an end to discriminatory policies. In addition, Liam also organizes free dance classes for LGBTQ+ youth, creating a healthy playground for them to find joy, confidence, and a sense of belonging. She believes that when a child learns to love themselves through art, the world becomes less prejudiced. Liam Maldonado is more than just a queen of the glittering catwalk. She is a voice of freedom, proof that even when politics turn against her art, and courage can still light up the darkest corners of society. Yari Jones. Yari Jones, a Black transgender model, actress, and producer, has risen from the shadows to become one of the most powerful icons of the LGBTQ+ community. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Yari faced countless stares and rejections simply because she was transgender, Black, and plus size. But instead of accepting the rejection, Yari turned her body and story into a statement. All identities, all shapes and sizes, deserve respect and love. A major turning point came in 2020 when Yari Jones became the first Black plus-size transgender model to be featured in Calvin Klein's Pride in My Calvins campaign. Seeing Yari appear confidently on billboards across the US was not only a fashion moment, but also a cultural jolt, forcing the public and the industry to re-examine beauty standards that had long excluded people like her. While Yari is becoming a face of diversity and inclusion, the Donald Trump administration has signed an executive order defining gender based on biological sex, threatening to erase the legal rights of the transgender community. For Yari, this is not only an act of discrimination, but also a blatant denial of the existence of millions of people who have fought hard to be recognized. Not one to remain silent in the face of injustice, Yari Jones uses every media platform at her disposal to challenge these discriminatory policies. She speaks at human rights events and works with international organizations to advocate for legal rights, healthcare, and personal safety for the LGBTQ+ community. Yari believes that art, fashion, and film are not just places for entertainment, but powerful tools for demanding justice and equality. In addition to modeling, Yari is involved in film production and art projects that tell the stories of Black trans people, stories that are often overlooked in mainstream culture. She wants the world to see that their identities are not only worthy of recognition, but also worthy of celebration. Yari Jones represents not only beauty, but also courage and the desire for freedom. She is proof that even when politics tries to stop it, art and human spirit can break down all barriers. Maya Taylor. Black transgender actress and singer Maya Taylor is living proof that talent and determination can overcome any social barrier. Born in Houston, Texas, Maya had a difficult childhood, struggling with family rejection and social prejudice from a young age. Those years of deprivation pushed her to the brink of despair, but also forged an unyielding spirit, a source of strength that would later propel Maya into the Hollywood spotlight. Her breakthrough came in 2015 when she starred in the film Tangerine, which was shot entirely on an iPhone but shocked critics with its authentic story of transgender life in Los Angeles. As Alexandra, Maya delivered an emotional performance that helped her become the first transgender actress to win a Gotham Award, a historic milestone for the LGBTQ+ community in the film industry. While Maya and many other transgender artists are taking steps to break down barriers to representation on screen, the Donald Trump administration has signed an executive order defining gender based solely on biological sex. This policy threatens to strip millions of transgender people in the United States of their legal rights, career opportunities, and even their right to health care. For Maya, this is a serious setback, negating the achievements that she and her community have paid for with sweat tears and blood. Not one to remain silent. Maya Taylor has openly criticized these policies in numerous interviews and human rights forums. She asserts that art cannot thrive in a society where people are forced to live contrary to their true identities. Maya understands from personal experience that each such decree is not just an administrative provision, but a spiritual wound for those who have fought their entire lives for recognition. In addition to acting, Maya is involved in music and social advocacy projects, working with LGBTQ+ organizations to raise awareness and protect the legal rights of Black transgender people. She hopes her story will empower those looking for hope in a world full of prejudice. Maya Taylor is now not only the star of Tangerine, but also a powerful voice for human freedom and dignity, despite all efforts to suppress it. Across music, film, fashion, and activism, these 15 Black LGBTQ+ legends have refused to stay silent while policies threaten their very existence. They've turned pain into power stages, into battlegrounds, and art into defiance. Their stories prove that identity cannot be legislated away, nor dignity erased by political signatures. Yet as their voices rise, so do the forces of division. On Legends of Black Excellence, we celebrate their courage. But we must ask, in a world still divided by fear and prejudice, will society finally choose equality or keep repeating the same mistakes?